All right, let's jump right in. When you think about German legend, you've got these two towering figures who seem like complete opposites. On one side, a revered pagan god. On the other, this infamous medieval demon. But here's the kicker. What if they're actually two sides of the very same ancient coin?
So first up, you've got Wotan. He's the Allfather, right? The ancient Germanic god of wisdom, of magic, the eternal wanderer. And then you've got Mephistopheles, the archdemon from the Faust legend, the super slick, cynical tempter who loves to bargain for human souls. I mean, one's divine, the other's demonic. One is ancient, the other medieval. How in the world could they possibly be connected?
So what is the secret? What's the hidden thread that ties a god of wisdom to a demon of temptation? It feels like a total paradox, but let's pull on that thread and see where it leads.
To get our answer, we actually have to travel outside of Germany, all the way back to ancient Rome. Because the secret, the shared identity that binds them, has been hiding in plain sight for centuries.
And the link is Mercury. Yep, the Roman god, the swift messenger, the patron of travelers, and the ultimate trickster. That's it. This one deity is the key that unlocks this whole deep and pretty surprising connection between the Allfather and the Great Tempter. I know, it sounds a little wild, but the evidence is absolutely fascinating.
So, let's start with Wotan. When the ancient Romans first came across the Germanic tribes, they didn't just see some strange foreign god. No, they looked at Wotan and saw a reflection of one of their very own.
And why do they see Mercury? Well, it really came down to three key things. Wotan was all about profound wisdom. He was the god for travelers and wanderers, and he was an absolute master of magic and the mysterious runes. For a Roman, you put those three things together, and there's only one name that comes to mind: Mercury.
And if you want some solid, undeniable proof, just think about the middle of your week. The word Wednesday. It literally means Woden's day, and Woden is just another name for Wotan. This is no accident. It's a direct word-for-word translation of the Latin Dies Mercurii, or Mercury's day. The connection is baked right into our modern calendar.
Okay, so the link between Wotan and Mercury is pretty solid, but Mephistopheles? That's where things get interesting. He's not a copy and paste job. He's more like a dark evolution of that exact same mercurial energy, just reborn for a completely new Christian era.
Now, to really get this, there's a great word for it: calque. It's basically when you borrow an idea or a concept from one language or culture and reshape it to fit your own. And that's exactly what Mephistopheles is. He's a demonic calque of that mercurial trickster archetype. All the core traits are there. They've just been twisted through a medieval Christian lens, turning a playful god into a seriously cunning demon.
Just look at his whole vibe. Mephistopheles is a fast-talking, cunning go-between. Just like Mercury, the messenger god. He's constantly bridging the gap between the human world and the supernatural. He doesn't use brute force, he uses his intellect, his wit, his powers of persuasion. And underneath it all, you can feel that same restless, searching spirit. It's the Mercury persona, just, with a much, much darker agenda. So what does all this really tell us? Well, watching this one archetype transform across centuries tells a huge story about a massive cultural shift, a change from seeing the world in a sacred, pagan way to the more profane or demonic view of the medieval Christian world.
You can see the evolution so clearly. The archetype starts out as the divine traveler in Wotan, a symbol of wisdom and holy magic. Then, as the culture changes, that same energy gets remolded into the demonic intermediary, Mephistopheles. Wisdom turns into cunning. Magic turns into hellish deal-making. The archetype itself survives, but its entire moral compass gets flipped upside down.
So, in the end, Wotan and Mephistopheles aren't just polar opposites. They are truly enduring symbols of the multifaceted and evolving German soul. They prove that a culture's most powerful archetypes don't just vanish. They change, they adapt, and they start telling a whole new story for a whole new time.
And that really leaves us with a pretty cool question to chew on. If a pagan god can morph into a medieval demon over time, what other ancient archetypes are still walking around today, hiding in plain sight in our modern heroes, our villains, and our tricksters? What stories are they telling us now?